be in town? Huh?
What's up?
So that means you've been Rupert Dale Lane hanging with them boys in Rupert Dale Lane. Because it tells me that you've been hanging out with them bad boys. So you trying to be a bad boy? Yes, yes. Joshua wants to be a bad boy. Joshua can't be a bad boy because Joshua named Joshua. You got a Bible name.
So,
What you want to do when you finish school, Joshua?
construction.
Huh?
I'm gonna be a construction worker.
All right. So why don't you go be an engineer? Huh? Why don't you go to school to become a contractor? So you have no interest in remaining in school, Joshua?
Yes, sir.
So you gotta learn. You gotta behave yourself. Go, Joshua. Go inside, Franklin. Pull up your pants, boy. I don't see your drawers.
See, my pants look too small.
Yeah, but I don't see your drawers. Sit down. Take your hand out your pocket. Franklin, why are you here?
Disrespecting my grandma.
Huh?
Disrespecting my grandma.
You think that's a good thing?
No, sir.
So tell me something. When last you had a haircut?
I think in summer in January.
In January?
I think so. I'm not too sure.
Why you cut your hair from January?
Because I was doing was online. So she didn't bother cutting it. But
Okay.
she said she's gonna cut my hair.
You gotta worry with that. You get a free haircut. I can make sure your hair cut, Franklin. Franklin, why you being rude to your Grammy?
The way how you getting treated at home.
How are you being treated at home?
Like, it's way like I get blamed for certain stuff I ain't do.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't know what I ain't doing.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even be home and not going straight to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what else type of treatment you be treated at home?
Like, when the time for me to ask to go get something to eat, it'd be a problem. But when my sister asks, it'd be no problem.
So you mean to make something to eat in the house?
Yes, sir.
So you think that is to say how you be treated, I should be rude. That's what you're getting from that. They treat me bad, so I need to be rude to them. Huh?
Yes, sir.
That's what you get from that?
Yes, sir.
No, man. What I'm saying to you, Franklin, is as you go up in life, people they can mistreat you and disrespect you all the time, but that don't mean you must be rude to them. All right, so where do we go from here?
I mean, I would just change my ways. Change my bad habits.
Okay, you just go to school every day?
Yes, sir.
What school you attend?
I see my person.
So you in the big jukes in the same class?
No, sir.
You know him?
Yes, sir.
All right. So who you hang with in school?
My friend Jaden.
Just y'all two?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing in school?
I doing good.
What you mean good? Tell me what you mean. Explain that.
In class, make sure I get my work done.
So your grade point average is what?
My last one was 1.91 or 92.
Why?
Because couldn't be able to get it online like that. I had problems getting in class online.
So before that happened, how were you? What did your grade point average in school?
It was 2 point.
2 point?
2 point, almost a 3 point.
So tell me, Franklin, because I see on your document here, you are rude, you are uncontrollable. Your Grammy can't control you. Where's your mommy?
She makes nice additions.
Where's your daddy?
I don't know my daddy.
You don't know your daddy?
No, sir.
So you don't have a relationship with your daddy?
No, sir.
So do you see your mommy?
Yes, sir.
Your mommy's talk to you?
Yes, sir.
Your mommy's take care of you?
No, sir. I don't live with her.
What is the relationship like with your mommy?
She's make sure I scrape with my this stuff.
So she's buy the stuff and bring it?
Yes, sir. She tell me call her because this one is my birthday.
So your Grammy's taking care of you?
Yes, sir.
All right. You was in foster care before?
Yes, sir.
Who you was living with in foster care? The same Grammy where you is now?
That's all.
All right, Franklin. Carry on, Franklin.
It's too late for excuse. What you gonna do?
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the Bahamas hoping to reduce food imports by some 25%. Plus, local attorneys weigh in on the opposition's call for the Prime Minister to reshuffle his cabinet. And another dilapidated building torn down in Freeport. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Simone Davis. Thank you so much for watching. Nowadays, food security is a buzzword all over the world, and the Bahamas has joined that campaign appointed to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization in Rome back in 2021. Ambassador Winston Pinnock says they have a mandate to create partnerships internationally to ensure the continued growth in the food and agriculture sector here in the country. Aja Quant has that report.
The United Nations has a dedicated agency that is in charge of global efforts to end hunger, which is the UN Food and Agriculture Organization. Over 130 countries around the world are served by this organization, including the Bahamas. The Bahamas' ambassador to the UN, His Excellency Winston Pinnock, claims that the FAO is committed to ensuring that nations all over the world have access to technical and financial support for food security.
Having membership allows you to participate in the organization in a way where you can access the support, the technical support, and the financial support.
In addition to membership, according to His Excellency, for the first time, the Bahamas is one of the 49 countries represented on the FAO Council, which serves as the organization's governing body.
Since its inception, only 2 Caribbean countries have had that opportunity. It's Trinidad and Tobago, and now the Bahamas. And so what that entails and what that means is that we get to go to Rome 3 to 4 times a year at council meeting to determine what the governing structure of the organization look like, what the rules, whether it's a finance committee, whether it's a program committee, but the entire structure of the FAO is governed by the council.
The ambassador says the Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, and his team are playing an active role in making sure they continue to build partnerships like Her Excellency Cindy McCain. He adds that climate change has a significant impact on the nation, which trickles down to farmers, but the Agriculture Minister is working aggressively to address this global issue.
Our minister is doing a great work in trying to come up with systems that will attract young people, like containerized farming and other technology-driven methods of farming that will enhance and make it not traditional, like cut and burn. You know, it's not. Farming today around the world is far more technologically advanced than the old days. And so Minister is on a mission to really revolutionize farming in the country.
According to His Excellency, by 2025, the Ministry of Agriculture hopes to reduce imports by 25%, and Minister Sweeting is working to identify additional areas to target and ensure that the country is well on its way to sustainability. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Aja Quant.
Well, the leader of the official opposition, the Honorable Michael Pintard, calling for the Prime Minister to reshuffle his cabinet, including the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxey. In this report, local attorneys are questioning Pintard's credibility to make such a charge, especially after he stated that certain ministers are not suited for their portfolios. Here's what those attorneys had to say. Last month, opposition leader the Honorable Michael Pintard called on the Prime Minister to revisit his selection of cabinet ministers and give them portfolios that better suit them. Ministers he mentioned included Works and Utilities Minister Alfred Sayers, Transport and Housing Minister Jobeth Colby Davis, and Grand Bahama Minister Ginger Moxey. Attorney Cassietta McIntosh responded to that call, stating that PM Davis does not take orders from the opposition, and if he chooses to shuffle his cabinet, it would be based on his own assessment.
The public voted in the PLP and demonstrated their confidence in the Honorable Philip Brave Davis, and it's on that confidence that we will continue to rely, meaning that when he sees fit, and if he sees fit, then he will shuffle his cabinet, and it will not be on the on someone else, especially from the opposition, telling him how to do his job.
McIntosh says she believes Pintard's analysis of Minister Moxey's performance is unfair.
When we're saying that she's ineffective, I think we need to go and talk to those persons who were employed by the beautiful Grand Bahama program. Those persons who hadn't been working for years, months, who was able to put some food on their table.
Minister Pintard labeled the Grand Bahama Minister an extension of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, since she previously served in the capacity of Vice President at the company. Pintard was of the opinion that Moxey is not experienced enough to serve in her current role. Attorney Osmond Johnson says Moxey's relationship with the Port Authority is beneficial to Grand Bahamians.
The connection between the Honorable Minister for Grand Bahama and the Port Authority, at least from the initial point, we viewed as a positive aspect, because as you rightly pointed out, she has this intrinsic understanding of the relationship between the port and Grand Bahama and the local government, how it functions in practice. And I also feel that she has, as a Grand Bahamian, as a local Grand Bahamian and someone who spent many years here, who I believe grew up in this island, she also understands the specific social issues that affect her people.
Meantime, attorney Constance McDonald says she believes the opposition is simply searching for flaws within the Davis-led administration.
As opposition leader, he has to justify his position. But I've said to a former member of the Minister Cabinet, is that all of a sudden now they have so much voice. They would have had more credibility if they had some voice when they were in the cabinet.
McDonald adding that she also believes there's a greater expectancy placed on women in high positions. But Attorney Johnson says Grand Bahamians need to see more from the Grand Bahama Minister.
No matter what a woman does, there will always be persons, and they expect more from a woman than they would expect from any man. Now, in my opinion, I think that the minister is doing an excellent job.
The Honorable Minister for Grand Bahama, if she wishes to engender the support, the genuine support of our people ahead of the next general election, and by that I mean more active steps to attract foreign direct investment to Grand Bahama.
The Grand Bahama Port Authority keeping its commitment to beautify Freeport. The company has been conducting demolition exercises to rid the city of dilapidated buildings that create an eyesore. On today's agenda was the destruction of the former Honda Cycles building on Queens Highway. Our news team was there and caught all the action. Following last month's demolition of the Freeport Gardens Resort, also known as Windsor on the Mall, the Grand Bahama Port Authority continues its efforts to get rid of ruinous buildings around the city. This morning, the old Honda Cycles building was torn down in the Queens Highway area. Assistant City Maintenance Manager Renardo Carrioryu says Queens Highway is a busy business area, and having buildings that are an eyesore is unpleasant.
It's one of the first buildings that persons see as they're traveling along this busy corridor. And we're following our legal procedure to demolish this unsightly and structurally unsound building.
CARICOM confirmed that this particular exercise cost about $10,000 and notes that several other worn-down buildings are in line to be demolished in the near future.
We have a number of demolitions planned for the near future. You will see demolitions occurring on Pioneers Way, Grenfell Avenue, and some within the Caravel Beach subdivision.
The assistant city maintenance manager made this charge to business owners in the city.
It is extremely important because it affects the overall health and safety of the community as well as property values. We want to encourage all business owners to maintain, renovate, and keep their surroundings in pristine condition. Where necessary, we recommend landscaping or painting so that your buildings do not fall into a state of disrepair.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis. Well, police need your help in locating several men who are wanted for questioning on a number of criminal matters. Aja Quant has the details.
Police have intensified an island-wide search for Jamal Mizik, alias Bookie of Jonestown, 8 Mile Rock. CID officers want to question Mizik in connection with breach of the ankle monitor and witness tampering. He stands 5 feet, 10 inches tall, weighs 210 pounds, dark complexion, medium built with black hair. Detectives at the Criminal Investigations Department also need to question Lawrence Bevins in connection with possession of unlicensed firearm. The resident of number 23 Duke Drive stands 6 feet, 1 inch tall, weighs 160 pounds, slim built, dark brown complexion, and wears black braids. Jotico Michael Newbold, also known as Slick or Tico, is a resident of number 202 St. Albans Place in Lucaya. He is also wanted by CID officers. They want to question him in connection with causing grievous harm. Newbold stands 5 feet, 9 inches tall, weighs 150 pounds, medium built, with medium brown complexion and dark brown eyes. And CID detectives also need to question Jimmy Belfort of Dundastown, Abaco in connection with murder. He stands 5 feet, 7 inches tall, weighs 145 pounds, dark brown complexion, medium built, with black hair. Anyone spotting these 4 men, you're asked to contact police at 911, the National Crime Prevention Office at 302-8430, or Crime Stoppers at 352-1919. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Aja Quant.
Coming up, we meet the island's top speller, and we'll tell you the winning word when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Faithful Young Influencers for Christ invite you to attend I Can Get Hooked, a drug addiction discussion at Freeport Church of Christ, Friday, February 3rd at 7 p.m. Portobello's Restaurant is the place for lovers. Valentine's weekend with Friday and Saturday night dinner and Sunday brunch. Valentine's Day tickets are on sale at the lobby. Call 373-1333.
Life is said to be a gift. But for some, it can seem as though it's too much to bear.
A woman's death has rocked a community. They have been left with so many questions.
There was a single bullet to her neck area. I said, is she in the hospital? He said, no, ma'am, she's dead.
Some appear to have it all together.
I had a good childhood for the most part.
But the truth is, they don't.
Only God saved me.
Is there grace beyond the grave for those who no longer find peace on earth?
I'll never be the one to see that person going to hell.
It's a thin line between life and death.
Once they have made up their minds, they're going to commit it.
For those on the other side of suicide.
Hey Lord, you know I'm tired of
King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your number one news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Waterkeepers Bahamas recently taking action with their Canal Sweep Grand Bahama initiative. In doing their part in cleaning debris out of canal channels, their recent findings led them to removing items such as plastic, styrofoam, glass, and other debris. Having collected a significant amount of plastic items, Executive Director Rashima Ingram is pleading with the public to be more conscious about where they dump their trash.
This time we focused on the canal behind us, or the Bell Channel, and we were able to find plastics, styrofoam, aluminum, glass, but most of all the plastic stood out. It's just us trying to help to clean the marine debris, but it would be good if everyone is kind of mindful of what's happening, like using the land and then having winds or storms blow debris into the canal, just being mindful of the fact that everything will end up in the water.
She notes that the goal now will be to conduct this sort of cleanup more frequently and get the community at large more involved.
We normally have the canal clean sweep on the weekends, where we bring some of the youth groups that we have, our cadets, our YEAs, and then other groups like Rotaract and Kiwanis. They would come out. When we do that, we would normally bring out the kayaks, just so it's a time for us to clean, but then a time for us to have fun with each other as well. We try to keep the public updated on our social media, so if anybody is not following us, you could follow us now. We're 242 Waterkeepers. We're on Facebook and Instagram.
History will be made in a matter of days as for the first time, school counselors in the Grand Bahama, Bimini and Keys district will be celebrated with a week of activities for their invaluable contributions in education. This year's theme, helping students dream big. Keith Barr, along with school counselors from various public schools, gathering recently to make the announcement. They say the value of school counselors is not always known, and the ultimate goal is to give rise to change.
The counselors are very impactful in mitigating a lot of situations at home, baggages that the children bring to school, mental aspect of that would be an impediment to their learning. So we're very grateful for the role that they play, and it's important that parents and the wider community understand exactly how impactful their roles are.
The in-school activity we want to do is we want our students, we want to utilize our students, especially our Christian student movement. So we want them to come over the microphone and pray for the counselors, pray for the schools. We want to also, throughout the week, we want to do in-house activities with our students.
School Counseling Week is really to just push our agenda, our job title, like what it is that we do as school counselors. And so we have to promote ourselves essentially.
Counselors from the Senior and Beacon School expressing their excitement about being on board and say bringing awareness to their job description is important.
This week is just going to be filled with activities for our students at the Beacon School. They are aware of my job title. They know that I am there for them.
Our job at the senior high level is basically to focus on college and career and having the students successfully exit their learning experience. And so for this coming week, we're going to be focusing on doing mental health workshops, and we're going to focus on a career day.
30 young spellers put their brains to the test during the 26th Grand Bahama District Spelling Bee. Described as one of the most competitive spelling bees as of late, it came down to 2 young ladies who will now go on to represent Grand Bahama at the National Spelling Bee. Shane Stubbs has this report.
The 26th Grand Bahama District Spelling Bee was one that kept spectators on the edge of their seats. Following 16 rounds, Raja Ingram of Hugh Campbell Primary and Janika Lewis of Sister Mary Patricia Junior High were left as the final 2. After Lewis misspelled the word cobbler, Ingram would eventually spell the words traction and suburbs correctly, resulting in her walking away as this year's champion.
And I'm proud of myself because I know that I did a good job, and I'm just happy that God was there for me and He helped me through this.
For the spelling prodigy, it took a lot of preparation to reach this pinnacle.
I was like going through the words every day and going through definitions, doing Zoom sessions with my teacher, and sometimes before bed I would go over some words.
It was a nerve-wracking experience for her mother, Stanya, but she knew her little angel could get the job done.
I know she put in the work and I know she could do it. All right, she studied day and night. Sometimes I would have to race her to bed. So I knew she was more than prepared, and I'm just happy to see her win. I knew that she would, but, you know, of course, you had that little doubt, especially when you make a mistake. But I'm so happy that she won and that she accomplished her dream, because she worked really hard and she deserves everything she gets.
This year's competition included a vocabulary category, a brand new component introduced to test the speller's knowledge of definitions. Chief Judge Yvette O'Connell says this year's competition was one of the best in some time, amazed at how prepared the 30 contestants came in.
Today's competition, it was exciting, it was excellent, and we had 4 young ladies who emerged today, and the competition was fierce. So at one point we thought we knew who the winner would be, and then we had to go back again, and then we came back again. So the students were obviously very prepared. Sometimes in the past, we went to less rounds, and students were coming out quicker. And so today we had rounds where we didn't have any students eliminated. And so we kept on going, and I thought today we had an excellent competition.
District Superintendent in the Ministry of Education, Ivan Butler, congratulating all the spellers and coaches for a job well done, and wished Ingram and Lewis the best of luck ahead of competing at the National Spelling Bee later this year.
Very pleased with the work that our teachers and coaches are doing in the public school, and it was a clean sweep for us, one of the first we've had in a while, and so we're very, very pleased and grateful to those hard-working teachers and coaches that made this year spelling bee a success. We've had some very close calls in Nassau, and we'll be preparing very well. We are hoping that our students do very, very well in Nassau. We feel we have some very good candidates, and we just look forward to them doing their best in Nassau.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Your Friday evening sports check is next with Shane Stubbs.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shane Stubbs, and welcome to another update on sports. We've got some quick updates for you, but let's first start with cycling. The Tour de Grand Bahama returns to the streets of Grand Bahama this weekend.
It's a 3-discipline, 2-day event. It starts out Saturday morning, 8 a.m. at the Princess Lawn with a time trial. At the completion of the time trial, an hour later, it goes into we have a criterium where it's a closed circuit, and the cyclists will compete for an hour and then 3 laps after that. Cyclists coming from New Providence. As a matter of in a few hours, I'll be picking up the cyclists that are coming in from Turks and Caicos. I'm still waiting on the information back from Trinidad.
Even the Grand Bahama Port Authority is getting in on the action.
On Saturday, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, they're going to have their interdepartment cycling championships, where they have relay teams. And so they'll be competing who's going to have the bragging rights for 1 year.
The club will use the event in celebration of the Road to 50. The course is expected to cover 79 miles, starting from GBPA headquarters to the foot of the Jack Haywood Bridge. Cyclists will then cycle towards East Mall Drive and onto East Sunrise Highway, where they will then cycle to the foot of the Casarena Bridge and back. Moving to the tennis court, the Bahamas Pure Water and Ice Junior National Tennis Tournament is expected to be a great one.
It's scheduled for February 11th through the 13th at the YMCA. We anticipate to have about 35 to 40 junior players. Age categories are under 12, under 14, under 16, and under 18. We'd also like to say thank you to our generous sponsor, Bahama Pure Water and Ice, and we'd also like to say thank you to the Y for their continued support of the Grand Bahama Tennis Association.
As title sponsor for the past few years, Greg LaRoda of Bahamas Pure Water and Ice is happy to continue supporting the youth.
We're encouraged by that, and as long as we're around, we will continue to support this initiative.
And lastly in sports, scores from GBSSAA High School Hoops. A junior girls action, the Sister Mary Patricia Panthers outlasted the BMES Warriors 13-7. Over in senior girls play, the St. George's Jaguars rolled past the BMES Warriors 20-7. And in senior boys action, the St. George's Jaguars were able to hold off the Jack Cable Wildcats in double overtime, 49-47. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's your brief update on sports. I'm Shane Stubbs. Have a safe weekend.
Saturday, February 11th, No Holds Bar presents the legendary Stevie S live in a Rake and Scrape concert. Gates open at 9 p.m. Entry fee is $10. That's Rake and Scrape at No Holds Bar, Settlers Way.
Canal Bahamas says, can you feel the love yet? And the home enhancement continues with 15% off all in-stock cabinetry, white shaker, Swiss chocolate, Ovaltine brown, and Hello Milo for the entire month of February. Now is the time to upgrade or modernize your kitchen or bathroom with quality cabinetry from Canal Bahamas. 4 locations here in Freeport, Nassau, Abaco, and Eleuthera. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
It's that time again. Buy your tickets now for Mr. Lucky's Big Raffle. And win. Win one of 2 cars. A brand new 2023 Toyota. Large cash prizes. A brand new PS5 and more. Enter today by going into your local Chances store and either depositing $20 or more onto your account or buying $20 or more lotto tickets. Tickets available until March 1st. Winners announced March 4th. So hurry into your local Chances store today. You gotta be in it to win it. Winners take chances. Chances remind you to game responsibly.
Athletes across the northern Bahamas inspire us with their performances on and off the field. ZNS is proud to honor these competitors with our Athlete of the Month award. We will select an athlete whose story and accomplishments represents the best in their sporting discipline. Tune in to find out who will be the Athlete of the Month. Will an athlete be you?
King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Sylvia Major, you are our Facebook friend of the day, and we wish you a happy birthday. We would also like to say a special happy birthday to Samantha Colton. We hope you both are having a fantastic day. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Simone Davis, but be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, security measures heightened. CARICOM's focus areas. What's next for the Nurses Union? And sailing underway in Farmers Key. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
A national security risk. Good evening, everyone. I'm Makush Lopinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. An emergency press conference called in the wake of an incident at the Prime Minister's office that's left law officials on high alert. Our Jiminita Swain has all the details in tonight's top story.
Good evening, Makushla, and good evening, Bahamas. We're coming to you live from the office of the Prime Minister, where just moments ago we were advised that 2 death threats by way of a telephone call were made against Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis. A special press conference called here at the office of the Prime Minister, where Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernando updated members of the media on this issue.
Shortly after noon, this afternoon, 2 anonymous calls, believed to be male, called in and made death threat to the Prime Minister. Officers responded, and we are now have a full-scale investigation that is ongoing at this time. We are following some significant leads with respect to those. Both calls came in, one right after the other, about 15 minutes apart, threatening to kill the nation's leader. We're seeing in the past 2 days, on Wednesday evening, on social media, where a clip based on the protests downtown by Parliament, a group of individuals, and there's a clip out there in social media, and an individual who was shouting to assassinate the nation's leader, Mr. Philip Brave Davis.
Of course, Commissioner Fernanda noted that the threat level against the Prime Minister is listed as high at this time. Investigations are, of course, linked to that social media video, as well as linked to those phone calls that were made.
We are, as Bahamians, how we got to this level and threatening individuals. Not only you could go beyond the Prime Minister, but individuals, and we take this very serious. We are now viewing the threat level so that we could put some additional security measures in place, along with our law enforcement partner, the team here from the Defense Force. So we are on top of this, and we ask individuals who are out there or who may have intention to do that, or who will try to continue to do just that, to stop now. Because we will go at you with the full extent of the law. It's a no-no.
Commissioner Fernanda promises action against the person in that viral video. As for how the matter will be investigated,
that's number one. We're asking members of the public, those persons who may have information as to who the individuals is or who the individuals are, to assist us, and then we will follow through with technical equipment to try to identify the caller or where the call came from.
He also intends to call in the Coalition of Independence leader Lincoln Bain, who led that protest on Wednesday.
For him to hold a peaceful protest down there, and at some point, I myself will invite him to my office to have a word with him, because he has to control his supporters.
Prime Minister Davis had this reaction to the matter.
Example of what inflammatory and insightful language produces. It produces atmosphere where people just do things that's out of the ordinary. Unfortunately, that's the atmosphere that's being created at the moment, but we'll all get it done.
So business as usual for you?
Business as usual.
At this point, Commissioner Fernanda insists that security will be beefed up, especially ahead of that CARICOM heads of government meeting and in the coming days. From the Office of the Prime Minister, I'm Jiminita Swain. Back to you, Makushla.
The Office of the Attorney General announcing today that it is filing a summons seeking permission to demolish the expansion of the Shanty town in Abaco and 2 here in New Providence. The release stating that despite the injunction, some residents and occupiers have continued to construct and alter buildings without obtaining the necessary building permits, which violates the Building Regulations Act. Now, the AG's office acknowledged that this illegal activity threatens public safety, undermines proper planning laws, and hinders the orderly development and use of the environment. The AG's office remains committed to ensuring that all residents and occupiers comply with relevant regulations and guidelines to maintain the safety and well-being of all Bahamians, according to that statement. Well, it's one thing to hear of the problem that's beset Haiti, another to live through it, as did a group of Bahamian diplomats, one of whom is offering up his own suggestions to addressing Haiti's ongoing crisis. Fern Carey has more.
Chargé d'Affaires to the Republic of Haiti, Captain Godfrey Roll, believes an international military force is necessary in Haiti in order to address the ongoing gang violence that is crippling that island nation. The volatility there has also contributed to an influx of irregular migrants into the Bahamas. Roll is among a group of Bahamian diplomats who returned home from Haiti on orders from Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis after Haitian police protested in the streets on January 26. His comments also come on the heels of an appeal from Haiti last year asking the global community for military help in curbing the gang violence in that country.
The situation stands now. I don't think there will be any solution, and that's a personal opinion. I don't think there will be any solution until there is some sort of military force inserted into Haiti to back up, not to take over, not to occupy, not to invade, but to back up the Haitian National Police, who've been realizing some success before. All right, so there has to be. If there is none, then I don't see the politics and the elections and all that happening.
Roll detailed the role of an international military force.
Primarily training, equipment, intelligence gathering, that sort of thing. You know, and then boots on the ground in case there's a need they can't have an operation, you know, but you know, all that is things that they would have to work with themselves.
As for all consular matters, the Chargé d'Affaires says they are being dealt with.
Primarily, all requests for visas and consular matters are dealt electronically, and that's directly to the consular section in Nassau. So the embassy has not been dealing with visas for years. All right. If a Bahamian is in distress, we assist them.
Roll will also appear on the Reed Factor hosted by Julian Reed this coming Wednesday, February 8th at 8:30 p.m. on the ZNS network. The show will also be rebroadcast Friday morning at 9 a.m. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Well, migration featured in the National Art Gallery's exhibition last evening. Among the invited guests, the Prime Minister, who said this much on the vexing issue.
Migration is nothing new to the world. It's been around from time immemorial, and it's not going to go away easily until we are able to fix each other's country, to ensure that people have the opportunities and the ability to survive and live a life that's comfortable. We'll continue to have what I call the exit of persons seeking a better life. But we as a country, as other countries do, we have to protect our borders. We have to ensure that we enforce the laws. We are a country of laws. It is not that we don't welcome migration, but it has to be regular migration. It's supposed to be irregular migration. Of course, it does, in fact, have the tendency of displacing residents.
Well, Prime Minister Davis also speaking to preparations for the upcoming CARICOM heads of government meetings slated for February 15th through the 17th here in the capital. The Prime Minister serves as chair. He shared some of the focus areas.
We are ready, and in fact, high on the agenda is the crisis that's occurring in Haiti and the resultant irregular and even dangerous migration of its people. And we will come up with a solution during the course of these events. That is high on the agenda. Of course, we also have food security, inflation that's affecting the region, our energy crisis that we need to fix, and they are the items that we're going to be diligently trying to find answers for.
In other news, frustrated staffers of the Ministry of Works abandoned their posts this morning to protest plans that would possibly see some of them working under the Public Parks and Beaches Authority. As Cleopatra Murphy tells us, the Bahamas Public Services Union president insists he will not stand for it.
Grounds and beautification staff at the Ministry of Works up in arms after what Bahamas Public Services Union President Kimsley Ferguson says are attempts to place the public servants under the umbrella of the Bahamas Public Parks and Beaches Authority. Ferguson, who was joined by staff protesting the move outside the Ministry of Works' Joe Farrington Road headquarters Friday morning, says he had been giving officials time to address the concerns, but intervention has become necessary due to blatant disregard of those workers.
There has been an ongoing situation with the Beach and Parks Authority in conjunction with the Ministry of Works that has to do with whose staffing these may be and who has the right to be giving directives and instructions to these particular individuals. And so it has evolved to a situation where the senior manager of this particular area has been moved. We don't have an understanding or rationale as to why.
Ferguson says it appears the Beaches and Parks Authority does not understand its role that is clearly defined in its act of maintaining parks and beaches, not the road verges union members have maintained for decades. He fears if his members are absorbed under the authority, their hard-fought benefits could be lost. He also voiced opposition to a meeting with staff that excluded the union.
I want to send a message to the authority and to the ministry. When it comes to the terms and conditions of these individuals, the Bahamas Public Services Union is the sole bargaining agent for these individuals. And so if there's going to be any amendment or adjustment to that, we are one of the major stakeholders.
The union president says with the senior manager moved, he is concerned seniority is being ignored, stressing that Princess McPhee, with 35 years on the job and the most senior foreman, should take his place. The veteran staffer says she feels disrespected and set aside after a junior was brought in.
I will say that I'm the foreman for Clarge Road, and I will not change that. And nobody will come and push over me. You understand? Nobody will come and push me. You understand? This person they send here, he is a junior to me. He is the one who caused all the problem at Clarge Road against the workers. But you still have a heart to pull up at Clarge Road and said you come to run Clarge Road.
30-year staffer Don Butterfield claims he too has been overlooked. Staffers are demanding better treatment.
Ministry of Works told us out their own mouth that we as ministry staff, well, why we have to be bowing down underneath the Beach and Park Authority.
The staff who say they feel underappreciated are promising to continue to stand up until the ministry treats them better. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Now, our news team reached out to Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Works, Luther Smith, who says the premise of the protests was wrong. He also sought to clarify that the concerned staffers could lose their benefits is not the case. Smith further explains that the ministry was simply deploying skills to assist the Parks and Beaches Authority with efforts to keep parks, beaches, roads, and some of the highways clean.
They are public officers, all right? The idea was to bring the efforts of the parks, parks and beaches in harmony with that of roads and parks, which is in our section, okay, which is a part of the Ministry of Works. Some of them are objecting to that because they are laboring. I'm at Government House, there's a lot of noise. They are laboring under the impression that they are going to be part of the Public Parks and Beaches Authority, and that is not so. They are protected as public officers, and they're protected by the public service rules and regulations.
He says no disrespect was intended, adding that BPSU President Kingsley Ferguson took issue with the Ministry of Works having an internal meeting that had nothing to do with the union. Smith says that meeting was to decide how the staff would be divided and their functions. Further, he says the ministry moved Denver Hanna, who previously had responsibility for Claridge Road, as it was determined he could be used elsewhere.
Princess McPhee is the senior foreman. At the meeting yesterday, they wanted to know who would be responsible for the Claridge Road compound. And the decision was taken, which we are revisiting because we did not know the seniority listing, to make somebody else that. But that is not set in stone. No letter of deployment has been issued. No letter of setting out responsibility issues. This meeting happened at 2 o'clock yesterday, it went till 4, and they come down at 8 o'clock this morning. The way things are done in the public service, when you're appointing someone to head an organization, whether it's one or two persons, you give them a letter and say, as of this date, you are so and so and so and so. You know, so I don't know. Kingsley obviously has nothing much else to do.
In overnight crime news, a child abduction averted. Authorities sharing details of the matter, which reportedly took place yesterday after 3 p.m. An 11-year-old was reportedly in the area of Balfour Avenue and St. Charles Vincent Street when two occupants of a white van attempted to abduct the primary school student. Police said the child was able to escape unharmed. The hunt's now on for the two men. Meantime, a 36-year-old Exuma man's being questioned after reportedly being caught with counterfeit currency. This is the end result of officers executing a search warrant on the man's home. Reports are that on 3 separate occasions, the man was able to buy goods and access services by using the fake Bahamian and U.S. money. The matter's under active investigation. Well, another boost to employment as an upscale Cable Beach property swings open, a sure sign that investor confidence remains high in the country. Carla Palmer has that story.
Goldwyn Resort and Residences on Cable Beach is the newest hotel property here in the Bahamas. Following a 4-year construction period, the resort officially opened its doors this past Thursday. Donald Adam is the chief operating officer.
NASA Bahamas is a key destination. It's always better in the Bahamas. That's the tagline. We did our homework. We know that about 78% of our customers will come from the eastern seaboard of the U.S., about another 15% from the southern part of Ontario, Canada, and this is that market.
Adam touts the resort's distinct makeup, which he says has been a success.
We are a dichotomy in the building, so we are half residential condominium suites and half condo hotel suites. So we have 78 residential suites in which the owners can live year-round, and we have 81 condo hotel suites in which the owners can stay up to 90 days per year, another 9 months that those units are in the hotel pool.
Forward-thinking in its design and concept, showcases the resort in its unique style of mid-century modern, reminiscent of the 60s and 70s era. Apart from that, Adam boasts of the advanced technology.
We have everything from motion sensors in the building to phone controls, so every resident and every guest staying in the hotel can control all the features of their suite, from the lighting, the drapes, the blackout shears, the TV, everything from their phone. We can control it from the front desk. For example, our gymnasium will shut down whenever no one's using it. All the TVs will go off, the lighting will go off, the shears will close, the air conditioning will rev up. And as soon as a person walks in the room, senses motion that there's a person there, the TVs all come on, the lights come back on, and the gym comes to life.
Here at Goldwyn, this resort is representative of Bahamian authenticity through and through, beginning with employees to the artwork.
So right now we're just over 100 employees. The goal of this property is to truly be authentically Bahamian. When we talked to our staff, and a lot of our staff have worked on the island, they say that a lot of hotels say that, but they don't really deliver on that. They know from the front lines that it's not true. All of our support is Bahamian. All of the artwork on the property has been curated by local Bahamian artists. The main big display in our atria, done by local artist Keisha Monroe, is the largest of its kind at 65 feet tall. All of the artwork in every suite on the property has been locally curated and is done by a local artist as well. We're going to have theme nights actually right here in this foyer, where we'll bring in local artists and vendors to promote their products on island. The restaurant is getting as much of its produce and stuff from on island as we can, as much of our product that we can buy for the operation of the hotel. We actually even procured our own coffee called Gold Brew Coffee that we're having the beans roasted in Eleuthera.
With 3 of 5 floors operable, the remaining 2 will reportedly be on stream soon. Lipstick is all that's left, says Adam, of the work to be completed. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Well, 2023 will find tourism officials again taking to the skies on another round of trade missions, and rightly so, considering the success of those in 2022, 7+ million tourists opting for the Bahamas, with a good deal of them first-time visitors. Tourism Minister the Honourable Chester Cooper says forward bookings and marketing intelligence already point to 2023 ending even better. What's key is keeping the brand strong, keeping people talking, and ultimately wanting to visit the Bahamas.
We're going to 10 cities this year with our missions. We're continuing them. And over the course of the next several months, you'll hear more about this. But these are going to happen between March and November. So we are continuing the things that worked in 2022. We are adding to those things that worked in 2022. And we anticipate that overall stopover visitors will be at least 20% ahead. And we anticipate that we are going to hit the 8 million tourism arrival mark in 2023.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
We are a leading Bahamian bank, one of the largest publicly traded companies on BISX. Our measure of strength is our growth and performance, with over $1.7 billion in assets. We remain committed to serving the interests of our shareholders, staff, clients, and communities. The confidence to lead, the performance to remain. We are Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Since they were on sale, Monique couldn't resist things she didn't need. And neither did Bruno. Hungry for deals? You better come and satisfy that hunger with a great pick meal for only $20 at KFC before doing something crazy. Get 8 pieces of juicy, fresh, in-store prepared KFC fried chicken and 4 buttery biscuits, all for only $20. A finger-licking good deal.
Trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Bahamas Nurses Union election still being contested, but President-elect Muriel Lightbourne, who secured the unofficial win, says she's ready to move the union forward. Lightbourne expects the results to be certified by next week, and first on our agenda is ensuring Family Island nurses feel more a part of the body. The president-elect, who's taking over the post from Amantia Williams, says one of the things she also wants to tackle is a major challenge facing the local healthcare system.
One of the crises in the hospital that really affects nursing directly is the shortage of staff. And even though we have a shortage of staff, our nurses, I must commend them. They are doing a remarkable job, despite what persons are saying. Because if you have to work under those conditions, I can tell you it is very, very strenuous. And especially in the hospital, where the trafficking of persons, the volume is much greater. And so, you know, I commend them. Yes, we have a lot of concerns, and the public cries are that nurses don't care, or they're not, you know, showing that kind of concern that they should be. But I could tell you that for you to get up and go to work in the environment that you're working, I could tell you it only takes care and concern for our citizens.
Lightbourne says her long-term goals include retaining nurses who are leaving the country for better opportunities overseas.
And what this administration wants to do is we want to encourage our nurses to stay home. We need our nurses at home. And for the most part, as the administration, the only thing we can do is encourage our nurses, again, like I said, in the professional development, because, see, it ain't all about the money. The money is important, but our nurses is not just the money. Our nurses need to know that they have an opportunity to grow in this profession, and that's what has been lacking a lot for some of them. They're not giving the opportunity to grow in this profession. And so we want to do more postgraduate courses. We want to help with their professional development.
Well, still on health news, the Prime Minister is not taking too kindly to his predecessor, Dr. Hubert Minnis' claims that the current administration is failing miserably when it comes to protecting and preserving the Bahamas for Bahamians, especially at hospitals and clinics. Mr. Davis says it's an issue he's in the process of fixing.
My visit to the hospital was to see the progress of that effort to fix it. And I was pleased by that effort because a number of the wards that had been in disuse for years under your watch, to your whole term, just lay bare, right, depriving the citizens of the beds that were there.
The Bahamas chapter of International Society of Substance Use Professionals launched this week with the installation and pinning of its 8 executive team officers. The group of ISUP members are the health professionals trained to assist drug addicts in not only treatment and recovery, but prevention measures. Chairman of the Public Hospitals Authority Board, Andrew Edwards, supports the initiative for various reasons.
Unfortunately, substance abuse is a major issue in our country. Moreover, recent research indicates earlier use of alcohol and other substances among high school and college students in the Bahamas. With growing socioeconomic concerns, the psychological impact of life-changing events such as Hurricane Dorian and COVID-19, and growing social pressures, we need all hands on deck, all resources available, and a shared focus to bring focus and to break this growing trend. This organization, as supported by the PHA through Sandlands Rehabilitation Center, vows to provide its members with the necessary support and opportunities to connect and unite globally with ISUP chapters worldwide.
The Bahamas joins 34 other countries in the program. President of the national chapter of ISUP, Troy Clark, is promising this program will be like none other.
We aim to continue our mandate to help countless individuals released from prisons or treatment facilities build habits that enable them to lead lives of meaning and fulfillment through our strategic stakeholders. If you want to change the world, find someone to swim with. ISUP is here, ready to go the distance in hand, and we are asking the Bahamas to join us.
The Ministry of the Environment's efforts to keep the islands clean to resume very soon through its National Beautification Project. Here in the capital, that entails removing derelict vehicle and bulk waste, among others. The exercise halted during the Christmas holiday season. Environment and Natural Resources Minister, the Honorable Vaughn Miller's hope that Bahamians and residents will listen to this message.
Cleanliness is next to godliness. And where we really internalized it, we believed it, and it reflected in the way we kept our properties, our streets, and our communities. That has changed drastically. And so we wish to reintroduce that culture to our people again, that cleanliness indeed is next to godliness, and we want to do everything to get persons involved collectively to keep our nation clean, green, and pristine.
Well, if you've driven on John F. Kennedy Drive recently, you may have noticed a clearer view of the lake, and that's because the invasive casuarina trees have been removed. The Minister for the Environment and Natural Resources says environmental planning and protection, along with those of the Forestry Unit, are aware.
With regards to the cutting of the casuarina trees along JFK, our ministry didn't do it. We're aware of it. We're aware of it. We were involved in the process. We gave the instructions of the trees that could be cut down and those that did not be, because there are many trees that are a part of our, they are actually protected. And so we advised which one that could and could not be. So it was not our ministry, but persons from our ministry, from forestry, did advise them in terms of which trees they could cut down and the ones that they were not to touch.
An enthusiastic group of students have begun phase 1 of a project designed to stimulate entrepreneurship among youngsters. As our Lloyd Allen shares in this report, learning the new skill was quite an experience for the group, who in the end is set to create products made from all Bahamian materials.
It's all about utilizing crafts that pay off here at LW Young. Students undergoing a 2-week program, all designed to educate them on using local crafts and creating entrepreneurs from the classroom.
It makes me feel very excited because here's some students, they don't know how to use their crafts with their hands. So today, this is very helpful and easy.
Ninth grader and deputy head girl Troyana Wright says she's always been interested in crafts and was thrilled when given the chance to learn from the professionals at school.
We made a coconut cup, and it was very simple and easy to make. We got the two separate parts together and we hot glued them and balanced them evenly, and they were made. It was very simple and short and quick, and I think that anyone could be possible to make this.
Darius Mackey says he was simply happy to learn the skills, most of which required knowledge in electrical wiring, which he hopes will benefit his future career.
You get to learn how to twist the wires, cut the wires, and certain times, if you cut the wire wrong, you have to start over again. You don't want to cut the wire too short, or you don't want to leave it hanging because it would end up exploding. So, other than that, we learn how to polish, make a necklace, so it's entertaining.
Now, the two-week project, a collaboration between the school and BAIC, falls in line with educating students toward viable, culturally sustainable careers.
This week, artists just actually learn how to just open the coconut, they learn how to polish and how to put it together. But next week, you will see lamp, you will see keychains, you will see magnets, you will see hand pieces, you will see necklace. And all this is the aid of BAIC coming on board to partner on my classes at LW.
It is indeed our pleasure to work along with all schools, business places, anybody who have a concern, who want to bring with us indigenous to our Bahamas, all of the craft work. We are here to help you.
Instructor and business owner Pippa Smith says while the skills are detailed-oriented, her hope is to foster a love for manufacturing among the students.
It's something that we need now to bring into the school is making stuff from natural resources, which in the near future, I think it's going to be a great opportunity for them. Instead, everybody want a government job or hotel job. This is something that they can do and make money from it.
As a number of similar initiatives are in motion on the campus, the administration invites the public to visit the school on its Burnett Road campus for more details on how the Eagles continue to soar. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, now time for the answer to this week's poll question. And as a reminder, you were asked, do you believe the judicial system in the Bahamas is fair and balanced? Yes or no? On the ZNS website, 83% of you answered no, the other 17% yes. On YouTube, 91% said no, the remaining 9% yes. As for Twitter, no garnered 90%. While 10% voted yes. As always, thanks for participating. The National Report returns in a moment. Stay with us.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
It was a night of fine dining at Ocean Club Atlantis Resort's annual Swirl Tasting event. Chef Allen spoke to us about what this year's Swirl event has to offer.
We're at Swirl here tonight at the golf club at Atlantis, and we're having a fantastic event. Swirl is all about meeting family, coming back together, enjoying some great food and some great wine from our amazing wine sponsors. We have wines here tonight from Australia, and Penfolds is the wines that we are featuring. We have wines from New Zealand and also wines from California, both reds and whites in different portfolios, and it's been a fantastic night.
Chef Allen says the Swirl event is all about our Bahamian residents.
I think Swirl is really different because it's a very affordable event, first of all, and because the wine is sponsored, and so we have great sponsors who come in so we can afford to put an amazing event on for people. And so it's about bringing Bahamians back to the resort. It's really about locals. We don't advertise this anywhere else. We like our locals to come back and visit us every 2 months here at Swirl, and every other month we do a wine sit-down dinner, which we also host here at the golf course. And the wine sit-down dinners are usually 5 courses. We feature different chefs from the resort. Next, we'll have Chef Adrian Delacourt from Cafe Martinique, as well as our senior executive pastry chef, Chef Ludwig. There'll be both features on the menu here, and it's going to be a wonderful 5-course menu.
For more tourism updates, visit Bahamas.com. I'm Joshua Robbins, and this is Tourism Today.
Good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. God, if it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. If it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
After a year of gathering interviews and footage, producers of the documentary See How the Main Sail Sets premiered the 90-minute film at a special viewing at Fusion Superplex recently. Minister the Honorable Clay Sweeting, who has responsibility for regattas, says he's proud of the production.
For us as a ministry, especially during our 50th year, we looked at how does regattas and sailing encapsulate all who we are as a people, whether it's through sports or through the culture or through the land activities. And what's so exciting about this is we were able to travel throughout the Bahamas. The team did a wonderful job to ensure that they captured the essence of what sailing and regattas mean, not just to the sailors who experience sailing, but also to the people on the ground and the people throughout the Family Islands.
The documentary is a masterpiece created by the highly acclaimed and award-winning filmmaker Charlie Smith, a.k.a. Charlie Bahama, and executive producers Fred Munnings, Nader Hassan, and National Family Island Regatta Commodore Danny Strawn.
The regatta started in 1954, and there's not been any kind of documentary or historical perspective of what the regatta is all about. So what we're doing is we're cataloging the history of the regatta from 1954 to today. So that is really historical from the standpoint, and that's why we wanted to make this documentary.
This was really a collaboration and a labor of love, because everybody was there, you know. And as you know, even with sailing, regatta sailing and everything, it ain't about the money, right? It's almost like John Canoe. You don't make no money, right? It's about the love.
One of the most important things that we wanted to achieve with this documentary is to record the history of the regatta. But in addition to that, this is also would reflect the evolution and the development of the Family Islands. I'm sure that every Bahamian knows that throughout the years, these workboats were used to connect the islands, whether it was for communication purposes, distribution of food, back and forth, people transporting back and forth from one settlement to the next, and or from one island to the next. So in addition to just a regatta film, this is really a film over the last 60 years of the development of the people of the Bahamas, particularly in the Family Island.
Producers are planning to release the film to local media houses in a two-part series and submit the film internationally to several film festivals. Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Kendia Smith.
Have you been denied a U.S. visa and don't understand why? Have you been turned away from the U.S. border without an explanation? Maybe you've had a prior arrest or conviction and you're not clear on how to move forward at this point. Call our office. We may be able to help. 954-449-1833.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, John Canoe, and festivals, and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Family members confirming to ZNS News that president of the Sister Breast Cancer Support Group, Andrea Sweeting, has been admitted to the Tampa General Hospital's cardiovascular intensive care unit for observation. Sweeting's expected to spend the next few days there as doctors figure out a plan of action. According to her granddaughter, Courtney Spears, Bahamian doctors recommend that Sweeting receive therapy after a CRT device was implanted in her chest to make the heart's chambers contract. We understand Sweeting, though, is in good spirits. Humanitarian, leader, innovator, community advocate, educator, and athlete. Just some of the accolades bestowed on the late Leonard Brave Stewart during a memorial service at the Progressive Liberal Party's Farrington Road headquarters. The Bimini native served most notably as district manager of the Bahamas Tourist Office in Plantation, Florida, and was yesterday remembered for his contribution to party and country.
He believed as Lyndon believed, in the words, all the way to cause for the liberty of the common man.
Mrs. Stewart and the family, you have much to be proud of.
In his diverse contributions to the development of Bimini, his extraordinary connections to making significant contributions in Miami, his family's connection with the church, the Catholic Church, and the introduction of Catholicism to Bimini through his grandfather.
And he had been engaged since his retirement in an extraordinary effort to help refurbish Bimini. If you go there now, you see all these garbage bins across Bimini. That was his work.
Shopping online isn't new to the market, but gaining access to affordable healthcare products at the click of a button is the greatest customer experience. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited gives access to a complete customer journey, from shopping in our retail store on 9th Terrace, Centerville, to shopping online at your convenience from work or from the comfort of your home. Offering delivery and pickup options. Remember, if it's healthcare, it's here. Shop online today.
With over 25 years in business, nothing says commitment to our people, culture, and service like Rev. And this year is no different. We will continue to elevate your home experience for you to create and share memories for years to come, while keeping you connected to the people and things you love most. Our pledge to provide quality service each year remains true. Rev is made for you.
A new module water tank that's able to store about 500,000 gallons of portable water for distribution to Eleuthera customers under construction. Minister responsible for Family Island Affairs and Member of Parliament for Central and South Eleuthera, the Honourable Clay Sweeting, gave this update.
I know they've cleared the area for where the tanks will now sit. They also had access to another well, which would help to provide more water. And they also put another facility there, a temporary facility, to help to make more water so the other one could have downtime to make renovations and whatever necessary to keep it up and running. So the North Eleuthera station as well as Central Eleuthera water and sewage secured large tanks. The one in Central Eleuthera will be over 1 million imperial gallons, which would help to sustain. Currently, they produce only enough water for consumption for 1 day, which is 250,000 gallons. So in 1 day that we use that in the constituency because of the development and the homes that's being built. So this should give you another 4 days or so.
Well, one good turn deserves another, they say. The Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute, or BAMSI, recently donated a laptop to the government high school as thanks for using the school's classroom and grounds as its base for a week-long summer camp back in the summer of 2022. The device is to be used to support research being conducted by students in the agriculture program. As for the camp, which featured visits to several farms, agricultural and heritage sites throughout New Providence, it's said to have been a success, with 2 students having since enrolled in BAMSI. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather, and for that we turn to Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. We now have partly cloudy skies as a frontal system approach. Temperature at 79 degrees, your relative humidity 71%. We have southerly winds at 9 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,019.4 millibars at 30.10 inches and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family of Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 73 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Grand Toll Key, Marsh Harbor at 78 degrees, the Berry Island 79, Allenstown, Bimini 81 degrees, 80 degrees in Harper Island, Rockstown, Eleuthera 78, Black Point, Exuma, and Kemp Space on Andros at 79 degrees, Fresh Creek, Central Andros 81 degrees. Artistown, Canal, San Salvador, Rum Key, and Georgetown, Exuma, all reporting 78 degrees, more 78s in Ragged Island, Clarence, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana 79, Acklands and Matthew-Town, Inagua 79, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 77 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, Vital King, and the Paint Center. In the northwestern islands tonight, southwest to west winds at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet with caution flags in place. Low tide that takes place at 33 minutes past midnight for the central and southeastern islands. Southeast to south winds 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet, but that will change rather shortly. In the northwest Bahamas tomorrow, the winds become northeasterly behind that front, increasing in speeds 15 to 25 knots. The wave heights building 5 to 8 feet over the ocean, so advisories go in place for boaters in the northwest Bahamas tomorrow. The high tide, that will take place at 6:59 in the morning, with a low tide at 1:27 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands on Saturday, northeasterly winds at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet, caution flags in place for the central and southeastern Bahamas. And then on Sunday in the northwestern islands, the winds become southeast at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet, caution flags remaining, with your high tide at 7:36 in the morning, low tide taking place at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. In the central and southeastern islands on Sunday, southeast winds increasing 15 to 25 knots. Once again, very rough sea conditions at 5 to 8 knots. So we'll post advisories for boaters in the central and southeastern islands on Sunday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
For hurricane season, we got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus, we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. These 14s get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
Are you a contractor or new homeowner? Maybe you need a few pieces of lumber for your DIY projects. Welcome to Capital Lumber, the newest building materials company in the Bahamas. Located on Parkgate Road, Nassau, helping you to maximize your savings on lumber, cement, shingles, tools, and much more. Your one-stop shop for all your building essentials. With free delivery to the mail booth, visit us today. Capital Lumber, build strong.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
It's a Friday evening. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your fun look at sports. I'm Charles Fisher. The second half of the Private School Sunday basketball playoffs going down Thursday at the Canal Gym, tipping off with the junior girls. South jumping out to a 12-6 lead on the Giants of St. John's, only to see the Giants stumble their way back into this ball game. In the end, however, it would be the Big Red Machine edging SJC 28-27.
I'm a little bit disappointed with the way the girls can play, but in a way, I'm not too disappointed because they've never played ball before. So, they've come a long way with the development. And so, I must give my hats off to them and also give my hats off to St. John's. They fought a very good fight.
Junior boys start riding out to a comfortable lead on the Comets of Queens College. Just like the junior girls, they let their foot off the gas only to see the Comets make a run. But again, This one all sack, 36-32.
I told the guys at the start of the game, the season means nothing. You know, we beat them about 20 points during the season, and I told them that these guys were going to come up prepared, they were going to make some adjustments. We didn't play poised, we didn't play with the energy that we needed, but we did enough to get the job done.
Bouncing now to the senior girls, where the Giants of St. John's was dominant from the start, jumping out to a 17-zip run at the half and going on to win easily over Kingsway, 34-6.
Tonight, we came out with a vengeance because when we played them home, we only beat them by 14 points. But we had something to prove tonight, and we did it on the court on defense. So this team is really built on defense, not offense. But any little offensive points we get is a really like from our hard work.
Big matchup in the senior boys with Sac and Prince Will. Falcons flying on a 10-zip run midway through the first quarter. Sac, however, riding on a full tank of gas, would battle back to keep this one close and eventually lead 45-42 late in the ball game. However, Falcons go on one of those 8-zip run again and move on to the championship with a 56-50 win.
We played like, I'd say 50-50, not up to our potential, but I must give it to Sac, they played a hell of a game.
The sails are up at the Farmers Key Regatta, and that's where we find our resident skipper, Amajal Knowles.
The 2023 Farmers Key Regatta is set to take place this weekend, traditionally the first regatta on the annual sailing calendar. Before the skippers would actually hit the water, though, we caught up with a few on their preparations as well as their expectations for the 2 days of competition.
Preparation for me is going pretty good. If you look on the ground right now, we have a sail getting ready, brand new sail, so we're putting it together, the final pieces. And from here, we'll take it to the boat, put it on, and go for a trial.
Oh, well, we're looking to have a stiff competition. I think we have approximately like 20-something C-class and some of the top C-class in this country. And some of the top skippers, I understood that we're bringing in captains from Long Island, Georgetown, fellas paying some big bucks to hire captains. And then the lady owners have the defending champion who won the Farmers Key Regatta 2019, he's sailing lady owners, so that's a threat.
The last regatta they had best of the best. You know, we went out there. I finished third overall. You know, when I think about it, I think I should have been the winner, but unfortunately, you know, two other boats beat me. So it's a good opportunity for me to put myself together and go to Farmers Key. Those two boats are going to be in Farmers Key. I am out for them.
And with this being one of the first major regattas out the gate, it is important to set the tone for the rest of the year.
Like I said again, other regattas, like our regatta, then you have Rollville, then you have Cat Island. So Farmers Key would be more the bigger regatta because they have more boats.
Our local sailors are not the only ones competing this weekend. Dozens of international sailing enthusiasts also flocking to Farmers Key to participate in the 4th annual cruising regatta. We caught up with the top 3 finishers.
This is the first time in the Bahamas?
It's the first time I've been to Farmers Key many times, but this first time we've been in the regatta, and it was a lot of fun, really good. We'd like to thank the race committee, people here at the yacht club. It was a really great day.
It was a lot of fun. I had a great crew. It was a heavy catamaran, but we had the right wind with us, so it was perfect. It was a lot of fun, just, you know, competing with everybody. It was just a great time.
It's just great having a bunch of people out there, fellow cruisers we see all over the places we've been traveling south, getting together, putting our sails up and having a little competition. It was really a lot of fun. It's great that farmers here, little farmers, put this on for us. We really enjoyed it.
Stay tuned into ZNS Total Sports as we continue to keep you updated on the action down here in Farmers Key. Signing out from the beautiful Farmers Key Yacht Club and Marina. For my cameraman Stefano Johnson, I'm Amajal Knowles, ZNS Total Sports.
Sporting facilities headed to Cat Island. Andrew Grant, architect and landscaper, overseeing the project.
At this development, we are developing about plus or minus 15 to 16 acres of land, which will include a 400-meter track, a basketball, a refurbished basketball court, and a beautiful baseball field. Well, design work started from October, November, and we cut ground about 2 months ago. We are about, I would say, at least another 4 months out from completion. The completion of the baseball field, the resurfacing of the track, well, the building of the track, and then the resurfacing of the basketball court, and then we have concession buildings and also an announcer's booth to include in there. We also have a playground and a outdoor workout area, in addition to a proposed tennis court.
And the University of Bahamas Mingles women's softball team picked up international experience over the weekend during a South Florida tour against Fort Lauderdale University and Florida Memorial University. Head coach Shane Albury said he felt the team could have performed better. The Mingles lost to Florida Memorial 11-1 and 12-4 and lost to Fort Lauderdale University Eagles 11-zip and 20-3. And that's it for Sports Friday. I'm Charles Fisher. Enjoy your weekend.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Love to save money? Then shop the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Kellogg's Family Size Cereals, 19 to 24 ounce, $5.99. First Choice Sugar, 4 pound, $2.59. Mott's Apple Juice, 86 ounce, $5.39. Bumblebee Tuna, 5 ounce, 99 cents. Whole chicken wings, $1.79 per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Looking to create that special gift basket for a special occasion? Visit Janae's Uniform Center, Chesapeake Road. Choose from their large selection of baskets, plush toys, teddies and bunnies in a variety of colors and sizes, unique lighted teddies, specialty mugs and fragrances. Get your unique design or words heat pressed on an item to create that special gift. All from Janae's Uniform Center, Chesapeake Road. Call 394-8385 or 6 or WhatsApp 817-3295.
Time now for weather.
And our final look at weather satellite picture showing the leading edge of that frontal boundary now approaching Grand Bahama and Northern Abaco. That will cause increasing cloudiness over the extreme northwest Bahamas tonight, and that will be accompanied by a couple of showers, even maybe an isolated thunderstorm as well. The front will continue sinking towards the south and east. We expect it to go through the capital later on tomorrow morning, and that too will bring some cloudiness and some showers to our area. But most importantly, a nice little cool down will take place when that frontal system goes through. Tonight, we're looking at clear and mild for a while, but clouds will start to increase as we get deep into the night. Low temperature getting down to 68 degrees with a few showers falling in as well. Mostly cloudy, a bit breezy tomorrow. In the afternoon, there could be an isolated thunderstorm or two. Your high temperature just around 78 degrees. And the extended weather forecast, we're going to keep some of the wet stuff in the forecast right into Monday morning. But by Monday afternoon, that front will make that final push towards the south and east. We'll see some clearing on Monday afternoon, pardon me, and those temperatures, they will drop into the 60s, and we will see some low 60s as we get into the late part of the week, with temperatures getting as low as 63 degrees. And just before I leave, my good neighbor and friend Humphrey Simmons celebrates a birthday today, and from the folks in Westwood Villas, we want to wish him all the best on this special day. Makisha.
Well, thanks, Basil. And we also want to wish birthday greetings to Danako Parker, and that's coming in from your mom and our colleague here at the Broadcasting Corporation, Delilah. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.